putting together a new series on pedals, okay? And most people don't know, but I used to teach the guitar effects class at Musicians Institute, like in the old days. And I got to tell you, there's a lot more pedals these days. I don't really know too much about a lot of them, but you know, regardless, the history doesn't change and the way we use them doesn't really change. So I thought I would put something together. Now you can get the PDF if you like to read about it. Probably a nice, you know, coffee table book that you can sort of read and learn about some of the historic aspects of these pedals. But regardless, let's just start from the beginning, okay? So, you know, between your guitar and your amp, in the old days there was nothing. Just plugged into the amp. Nowadays, the first thing that's going to go between your guitar and your amp is going to be what we call a gain stage device, right? Something that's going to make the guitar sound distort, right? You know, now there's different ones, right? I mean, we have overdrive, but in the old days we had like fuzz pedals or treble boosters. And some people would take an Echoplex and turn the volume all the way up on them, and that would sort of distort the sound, right? And you know, before that, people would just try to mess with the tubes and you know, poke holes in the speakers and things like that. But somebody came up with these germanium transistor fuzz pedals, okay? And if you look in the PDF, there's a list of all of them and like the historic ones that came around first. But now the germanium chips were really sounded great. They had a lot of problems though. You know, they were really all of them sounded different, and they would react weird to heat and stuff. And so things eventually moved on to different kinds of transistors. But still, the germanium transistor fuzzes are like still really in demand. And so that's what we're talking about today, okay? So I got two of them right here. And I have the Analog Man Sunface with the NKT275 transistor in it, which is like the same one that was in the old fuzz faces that Jimi Hendrix liked, right? And then I got the BMF Effects G-Spot. And I really like both these a lot. And they both, to me, you know, I like the germanium sound. So both of these work good. I think both of these are excellent choices for that kind of sound. And I'm going to compare them a little bit. We're going to listen to them, okay? Now, the reason a lot of young, inexperienced musicians don't like fuzz is because there's a sweet spot on the guitar where they sound great. So if you're not used to like messing with your volume and your tone on your guitar, it's hard to make them sound good. Let me show you why, okay? So I'm gonna put on my G-Spot fuzz here, okay? Now I want you to notice, I got the gain all the way up on the guitar. It's on the neck position pickup. Now look what happens when we play like this. Now this is an okay sound in itself that's, you know, obviously fuzz, but look what happens if you turn the volume back a little bit. Try the same thing with the bridge pickup. On 10. So you see, this is sort of like the miracle of the fuzz, because you have to find that sort of Goldilocks conditions where it sounds the best. So if you're not used to messing with your guitar, it's kind of difficult, right? But you know, all that cool stuff that Jimi Hendrix did, like even the clean stuff, that was done with the fuzz, you know? So let's put on the Analog Man fuzz, and watch what I do here. I'm gonna turn the guitar up to only 3, okay? Just 3. Look what the kind of sound that we get. okay? I'll do the same thing with the G spot. So these are the kinds of beautiful, clean sounds that you can get. Now, they're not perfectly crystal clear, but look if I did the same thing without the fuzz on. Right, so you can see that it makes a big difference, and it really makes the clean sound even better, you know, by certain standards, okay? So that's the trick with fuzz, and so I highly recommend either one of these, and you know, you really have to. Now, I'm not going into an amp. I'm going right into my interface using Universal Audio's amp simulator, and it works good. Even with just into the interface using an amp sim sounds pretty good, right? Through an amp, it sounds even better maybe. So especially with like a Marshall amp, and remember the trick here is that the amp has to be like loud and sort of distorted for it to work. It doesn't work the same with a real clean amp, okay? And because you have to think about, like, you know, Jimmy Page and Eric Clapton and Jimi Hendrix, they had like a big loud blasting amp, and this is the way that they got their sound. So that's sort of what you're looking for, all right? All right, so enjoy it. Remember, you can get the PDF on Patreon, and, you know, read about that. And I'll move on to, next time I think I'm going to move on to treble boosters. If this seems popular, I'll keep doing more and more stuff, okay? All right, goodbye.